Welcome back to another amazing episode of Break Free to Brilliance podcast. This is your friend and host, Seema Giri. We just completed session one of the 100th episode where you heard Leandra Frey, Liza Lomax, and Melanie Whitaker. In this session, we're going to be hearing from another three amazing, phenomenal speakers: Penny Kidd, Andrea Sternberg, Jana Lane. So get ready to have your notebooks out to jot down some aha moments and some great insights. Okay, so Melanie just showed us how leading with your story helps you build trust and grow your business. But once that success starts coming in, how do you make sure your money is working for you rather than slipping away? That's where Penny Kidd comes in. She's a financial coach, not an advisor. Penny believes that success with money isn't about complicated investments. It's about behavior and intentionality. Her new book, Make Your Money Behave, offers practical tools to help you take control of your finances, eliminate debt, and align your money with your values. Welcome, Penny. So happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Penny, so many people struggle with money habits. What is the first step to making your money actually behave?
I think paying attention to it, you know, you have to look at it and be aware and um, honest sometimes with what it's doing or not doing that you would like to change.
That's interesting when you say you have to pay attention to it. Um, Many of us, I guess, we only look at it at certain times of the month and not really consciously plan things. So
Mhm.
tell me about why you decided to get your money to behave.
Yeah, so my story started a little over 20 years ago, and I was a caseworker in child protection. I was a social worker by trade, and I didn't make a lot of money. And one of my coworker friends came to me and asked for help with her money because she thought I was doing really good. And honestly, I wasn't doing anything different than anybody else I knew, but I was paying my bills and balancing my checkbook, and she thought that was better than she was doing. So, long story short, we started working together. We were going to try to do this because nobody I knew would talk about money. And we were going to be accountability buddies and work on this. And we met together two times. And then she was hit and killed by a drunk driver,
Mm,
which rocked my world and made me realize that none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. And I didn't want to leave my family in the situation that she left hers. And at that time, I had probably $30,000 worth of consumer debt, plus a mortgage and very little savings. And when we started learning that it was less about what we made, it was more about what we did with what we make.
mm,
Right. And so we started learning the habits and the behavior and the systems to learn how to create a spending plan, which is the dreaded B word that people don't like to say budget. But the reality is it's just deciding what you want to do with your money. Right. So when my husband and I learned how to budget, we were able to pay off that 30K and paid our house off in 2013 and then cash flowed two kids through college when we didn't have a dime saved until my oldest was in ninth grade. So I started realizing that little habits can have big impact. So that's when I started helping my friends. My coworkers said, "What do you mean you don't have any debt? Don't you make what I make?" Which as social workers, you don't tend to be a high earner, right?
right, right. Well, that's amazing. That is amazing. So, what I'm, hearing from you is like, it doesn't really matter what your earning potential, what not earning potential, what you're earning. There are still ways
Today.
of making things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it is you need to make more. But if you don't
Yes.
know where you're at and what you want and your goals are, then you don't really know where you want to you can't get where you want to go.
When you said that, I pictured a map where it says you are here. So if you don't know where
Yeah,
you are, you really can't carve out a
exactly.
path to where you want to go. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was in Alice in Wonderland where was it the rabbit who said, well, I don't know who it was, but it's like any path you take will get you there if you don't know
Yeah.
where you are, where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think prevents us from winning with money?
Mostly ourselves, I think. I do think we are highly marketed to in this generation. And I don't know what the numbers are. Melanie probably knows, but everywhere you turn, there's somebody, trying to tell you to do something different with your money. But if
Hmm.
you don't decide on purpose what you want and what your goals are, and having some long term vision that costs a lot of money to be old and retire and get through life. And there's going to come some time in our lives where we either don't want to work anymore or we can't work anymore. I've had people tell me, oh, I'll just keep working till I die. Well, that doesn't always work out for people. So I
Yes.
think having some extra money to invest and to grow, which is not what I do, I don't do the investment parts, but if you can't find it anywhere, you can't grow it.
Mm,
So I think we're kind of our own worst enemies sometimes.
that is true. That is true. Yes. Um, but sometimes it's you don't know where to start, right? And
Mhm.
there's so many tools out there that it can be overwhelming, right?
True.
Um, I have a finance degree, and it's still overwhelming for me. So,
Yeah,
do you have some favorite tools that can help you manage your money easier?
I do. I have, well, and it can be as simple as a pad of paper and a pencil. And I say pencil because it's going to change. I wouldn't write it in pen, right? And I really believe that budgeting and spending plans are dynamic living processes. I think that was probably one of my first epiphanies was that it wasn't a once a year or once a month decision. Sometimes it's every paycheck or every day. What am I going to do with this money? And so when you get paid biweekly or monthly, you make an intention for that month. Your bills are one thing, but it's the irregular stuff that is harder to budget. How much are you going to eat out, and how much do you need clothes, and what holiday are you going to, what travel are you going to do? So just being mindful, that's what I do a lot with my clients, is to help them drill down into all the nitty gritty of life. And one of the tools I like currently, the my favorite the last probably 6 or 7 years, is a spending app called Cube Money, and it's spelled with a Qube. And I'm an affiliate for them because I think they're fabulous and they're helping transform our finances.
Hmm.
But I think this is kind of like taking the old envelope system and creating it digital, right? So it's wrapped around a bank account that then helps you say, okay, am I spending groceries? I have this much. Am I spending dining? I have this much. And planning ahead that sets the boundary. And then when you swipe your card, when you've turned on the app, it pulls directly from that one cube or envelope, if you will. So it makes you be in real time, see your money and stick to it, which I think is one of the hardest parts is like you see all this money in your checking account and you kind of forget, oh, yeah, it's got multiple purposes. This allows you to designate the purpose before you start spending. So it helps you stick to your plan. So that's my favorite tool right now is Cube Money.
That's great. But Penny, there are times of the month when things are stressful, things are hard. You go into the grocery store. You don't want to walk down the ice cream aisle, but you find yourself there.
Yeah.
Then you find yourself that your favorite ice cream is on sale and you're very close to meeting your grocery budget. How do you get away from that? And how do you run out of that aisle?
Oh, I wish I had the like magic fairy dust to sprinkle on you, but at some level you have to tie it back to I had an intention when I set my money, and was my intention for ice cream this month or not? And I think it's okay to give yourself some cushion for that. I don't know what's coming up this month. Some fun money, we call it blow money in my house. Like, I don't know what I'm going to spend it on, but it's mine to decide. Today it was coffee and a fancy pastry, right? So you need to build a little joy in your life and a little cushion for those moments. But at the end of the day, sometimes the answer is no, I better not. That wasn't my intention. And so I have to walk away. And Instead, I'm choosing to do this with my money. I do believe that words are powerful. And I try really hard not to say can't afford that because I probably can afford it. I'm choosing not to spend my money that way. And instead, I choose this. I choose to travel. I choose XYZ, right? So I think trying to remember what your value was before you get in the store, before you go on Amazon or in wherever, right?
Yes, that's very helpful. What I've been doing is taking a deep breath in, and you can actually see yourself in that mirror. So
Mm-hmm.
I say, you've done such a great job so far. You've released the weight. You're taking care of yourself. Keep going. Just take a deep
Yeah.
breath and walk away. And that's very empowering too when you can do that. So
Yeah.
remembering your values, remembering your intentions is really going to help you stick to your plan. And I like how you said, I've heard you speak other places, and I like how you said it's not the B word, the budget. It's your spending plan, right? Which
Right.
sounds more freeing and that you are more in control, right?
Yeah, because I think people think of the word budget like a diet, and a diet is also just an eating plan, but it's gotten a bad rap, right?
Right.
And so it's like, okay, create your own spending plan. It's your money, your plan. I don't tell people how to spend their money. I just help them decide how to spend their money.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Penny. Great
You're
insights,
welcome.
great inputs. Definitely can, start taking care of some of the inputs you gave right away, implementing right away.
Thank
And
you.
I just like to take a minute now to acknowledge a few people. I see some people are leaving that have been part of this journey with me and have been friends and clients. One was Carolyn Pistoni. I don't know if she's still here. I'm trying to see my gallery view. Looks like she stepped away. There was Dr. Sandra Brees. I think she's left too. Um, they're friends and clients. I've been part of several books that I've done, anthologies, as well as I've been part of the podcast. And Tracy is here. Tracy is also another good friend, client, bestie. I mean, all of the above. Tracy, thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be here and to hear all these great speakers. Some of these ladies I've already met. I realized I know Liza, but I've never heard her speak. So this has been a great morning for me so far. And Seema, I'm just here to celebrate you and your 100th episode and happy to support.
Thank you. Thank you. It feels so good to be here. I'm so happy that I just didn't quit when I wanted to. I think we've
Yeah,
had that conversation too.
love that. Well, yeah, I mean, you've had a lot go on. How long has it been for these 100 episodes? How many years?
I don't, should I say it?
Well, I mean,
I
yeah,
guess I have to
because
say it.
it's
I'm full
inspiring because
transparency.
the stick with itness is what's
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Hey,
Yes.
you know what? But it's okay because that's the point is that you did stick with it. That it might have been 5 years ago that you started, but you decided that this was important to you and that what you're bringing to the world is also important. And so here you are still here and we're all inspired. So we thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for that. And full transparency, I was wondering, because like I think it was um maybe Liza or Melanie. It was Melanie, comparing ourselves to others, right? So I was researching, it's like, well, not everyone celebrated 100th episode. What's the big deal? Or it seemed like it's taken you 5 years, right? But I started on a monthly basis and became bi-weekly. When it became weekly, I don't even know. Then I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. You have to coach yourself, right? It's my journey. I took the scenic route and I'm following my intuition, right? Intuition sometimes takes you on the fast path and sometimes it takes you on the journey you need to be. So I said, you know what? This for me is a big deal, and I'm going to celebrate it, whether it took me 5 years or longer or whatever. It's my journey, and it's amazing, and it's a learning, and it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So, so I said, this is worth celebrating, and I'm going to celebrate it. So this year, I've started owning a lot of things myself, and saying, yeah, I'm great at this. In LinkedIn, I posted, I also do project management trainings that I get results on first attempts with people. So that is so important for all of us to do. And it's now time for me to step into that. Thank you so much, Tracy. And I also would like to thank and acknowledge Catherine Sorais. We've been friends for, I don't know, it sounds like forever, but I think it's been 5, 6 years. She's also a client. She's been in my anthologies. I think it was Power of You that she was part of. And Tracy's been part of 3 anthologies. So that's been amazing. Catherine, thank you so much for being here. And Mary, thank you so much for being here as well. We've connected in different venues and different times, but it's good to see you here. And not the only man, there's 2 men here. Upendra is my husband, who's always behind me and supporting in everything that I'm doing. He's traveling in India. And then I also want to take time to acknowledge my team. Ahmed is here. Shivam is here, and Nisha. And they're my back end support from India. And it's really late night for them here, and they're still here. So thank you. And Soa, thank you for being here. I wanted to take this time to acknowledge Carolyn and Sandra. I'm sorry I didn't get to do this when they were here, but they've been amazing support as well as they've been on my podcast, and they're also clients as well. And they were both part of Power of Community, which was the last release, which Tracy was part of too. And then Carolyn also wrote her solo book, Open for Joy. So it's been an amazing journey with everyone. So let's go to our next speaker. So Penny just showed us how to take control of our money, but what if we could attract more of it simply by showing up more powerfully? That's where Andrea Sternberg comes in. As a video marketing strategist, she helps heart-centered entrepreneurs step into spotlight with confidence. Video isn't just about visibility, it's about creating a real emotional connection with your audience. So if you've ever struggled with what to say, how you look on camera, or even the tech behind it all, Andrea is here to show you how to release the fear and start using video to attract your ideal clients. Welcome, Andrea.
Hi, Seema. Thanks for inviting me. And congratulations. I am in awe that you've done 100 episodes. I think that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being here to celebrate this with me. And I was thinking today as I was starting, Andrea, that I wonder what Andrea's going to say about my setup. Became really self-conscious, but I said, you know what? I'm sure she's going to say it's amazing, but there's always room for improvement. So,
Well, my first video, I could tell the story. I lay claim to the worst video on the internet. I did, like a lot of people who start a business from home, I just moved into the spare room, which the previous owners had had as the nursery. And it was a webinar that I did, and when it was done, I looked at the replay and I went, "Oh no, this is what my office looks like." There were like blue, red, green, yellow, white stripes, a Paddington Bear border, and every piece of furniture in my house that didn't have a place was in my office, and it was all on camera. So, you don't have to have the perfect setup to get started, because I survived. It was terrible. I looked horrible. The clutter was awful. So, people show up for your content. I mean, you can make it look nicer, but it's really what you have to say, and sharing your message is the most important bit.
that is so true. And, I've ventured this year, I really ventured out into making reels and doing different kind of content, even for promotion of our 100th episode. I did something totally different around baking and cooking.
I
My
saw that and that was amazing. I really enjoyed that. So if people haven't seen it, go check out her reel because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So my team was like, let's try different things. And I'm like, you know what? It's time to get started because I've been hesitating, and so many entrepreneurs hesitate to use video. What do you think is the biggest mindset shift that they can have so they can start finally showing up in that way and confidently?
Well, I think the biggest thing that holds people back is they look at somebody who's been doing videos for years and somebody who's really confident and they've got a nice background and they look polished and they think, "Oh, I can't do that." But they forget that everybody was a beginner once. And you have to give yourself permission to be a beginner. And then the other nice thing, like, so if you're just starting with video, we all know, like, doesn't matter what social media you're on, they have an algorithm that decides how many people who are following you see your content. So if you've not been making video regularly or you've never made video, odds are not a lot of people are going to see your early videos, particularly if you don't announce them ahead of time and promote them to your email list and do all the things we're supposed to do. If you just go, I'm going to go live on Facebook. I'm not going to tell anybody beforehand. Not a lot of people are going to show up until you start building and getting consistent. So as your skill as a presenter on video improves, your audience will improve. I mean, think of it like if say you wanted to be a speaker on stages, you don't go and do a TED talk your first speech. You
Yes.
might you go to your networking group with like a group of your close business colleagues and you might speak in front of 15 or 20 people and then you gradually build up to big stages. And it's the same with video. You give yourself permission to be a beginner and recognize your first videos aren't going to get as many views, which is nice because you get a chance to practice. And then of course the other thing is if it's really terrible, which is probably not as terrible as you think it is, but if it really is terrible, you can always delete it. It's not
Yes.
carved in stone.
That is true. You can always delete it, and you can always do retakes as well, right? Until
Absolutely.
until you like it. Yeah. Yeah. So when we talk about small business owners, and I think that's what most of us are here, why is video even so more important for them?
Well, if you don't have a big marketing budget, you do like if you're Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you have lots of money to throw at running ads and getting ad agencies and getting your visibility out there. But if you're a small business owner, you probably don't have a big budget. And if you're selling online, people need to trust that you can do what you say you can do. They can trust, they want to feel confident that if I pull out my credit card and type it into your website, I'm going to get what I'm paying for. I'm not going to be ripped off. So you need
Mm.
to build trust. And when you show up on camera, first of all, it lets people see you're a real person. You're not some hacker on the dark web doing evil things. You're a real person. They can see your face, hear your voice, get a taste of what your personality is, what it's like to work with you in a completely non-threatening way. They don't even have to give you their email address yet. They can
Mm.
just go on your Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you're posting videos and watch you and in a completely non-threatening way. So it really does build that know, like, and trust factor that all of our marketing is about. And you can you can do it without video, but video, unless you're a really talented copywriter, video is going to do it faster and more effectively because you're engaging all of people's senses.
Out of everything you said, my favorite was faster. Right. So that is the key. And I've heard you, Andrea, say many times that to get started, you should do live videos. So live videos within your social media groups. Why do you prefer live over the pre-recorded ones?
There's a few reasons for that. One, and is not the most important, but it is important, is Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. They're all telling people make more live videos. And it's because the platforms know people spend more time watching a live video than a pre-recorded video. And what's really interesting is even when people aren't there live, they're watching a replay, they will watch a replay of a live video longer than they will a pre-recorded video. And I'm not saying that we should be all working for Facebook and LinkedIn for free, because no, we're business owners. But if your audience is spending more time with your videos when they're live, that's giving you more opportunity for them to get to know who you are and get to know, like, and trust you. But I think a more powerful reason about why to start with live video is, do you remember the old Mary Tyler Moore show?
Yeah.
Ted Baxter, when he was speaking to his colleagues, he had kind of this whiny voice, but then when he went on air, he had this deep, booming broadcaster voice. And I don't know if anybody else does that, but when I first started doing video and I was pre-recording them and doing them, I would put on fake broadcaster voice and fake Andrea and try to be like this professional. It was awful. I listened to the replays. But when you go live, even if you start off with fake broadcaster voice, because you're trying to remember what to say and you're trying to pay attention, has anybody joined me live? Are there any questions? You forget to be fake and you just be who you are. So it's kind of a shortcut to being authentic on camera, which, let's face it, speaking to a camera is kind of an unnatural thing to do. So it takes some practice. So live video does that. And then the other reason why I really like live video, the first time I tried to edit a video, I came this close to throwing my computer out the window. I was so frustrated. And if you go live, you just have to know two things. You have to know the button to push to start the live broadcast and the button to push to finish it. And then you just have to do your presentation, talk about what you wanted to talk about, and you can just completely forget about the editing. Down the road at some point, we're all going to want to edit the videos, to repurpose them, to make them fancy and all that kind of stuff. But to start, that's the easiest way to start.
I agree with you. It takes, for me, I've noticed that when I go live, I make less mistakes than when I do the pre-recorded ones, you know. Um, and I usually tell my clients that when we're doing the pre-recorded podcast, if you make a mistake, just pause and then we'll start again. And the person that makes the most mistakes and has to do retake is me. So with the live, it's just much easier, and eventually, it becomes much more comfortable. So definitely, But my favorite thing about going live is it saves you time.
Absolutely. And if you're not a content creator, you are a business owner, video is what you're doing to get new clients. So you want to, whatever your marketing is, you want it to be faster and easier. And, live video definitely is going to shortcut a lot of those things that make it faster.
Yeah, yeah. Tracy's saying that she has 2 lives planned today with her summit speakers. Yay. She's been really good with that. Good job, Tracy.
Amazing.
So, what would be one last word of advice to give to our people so they can get started right away?
Well, I would say don't worry about getting fancy equipment, new camera, fancy stuff. Start with if you have a smartphone that you've bought in the last 7 years, it's probably an excellent camera. Just get started today, because that's my one regret is I didn't start sooner making video, because the sooner you start, the sooner you could start getting better. So pick up your phone and do a video, and then next time do another video, and don't compete with other people on the internet, compete with yourself. Can I make a slightly better video than the last one? And that's all you need to do.
Yeah. It's practice makes perfect, right? So if you got to start someplace. And if I could make the kind of video I did about the baking one, I think anyone can do it. I was thinking, Trace, I haven't seen Tracy do anything like this. I haven't seen, Carolyn do anything like this. I was like, you know what, Seema, if the idea is coming to you, It's your journey. It's for you. They're doing whatever idea and intuition they're getting for their journey. So think about that. If you're getting an idea, it's a good thing that other people aren't doing because it's going to help you stand apart from them too. So just get started. Listen to your intuition, do the retakes if you're not comfortable doing life, but get started. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thanks, Seema.
Okay, so type in, my team has been putting these links in the chat. So be sure to go to that event resource page. We have some free gifts that our amazing speakers are giving over there, including some of what I'm giving. So make sure to click on that link and get their gifts. They're going to be really helpful and resourceful for you. So make sure you check that out. Okay, so Tracy's saying Penny's link on the resource page requires a login. So I think Penny has also, we'll fix that. And I think Penny has also put a link directly here. So please look at that. Penny, if you can add that again, that would be great. And I would request all the speakers to put in again. And of course, this is also going to be in the show notes when we publish this on all the platforms. So Andrea just showed us how to become more visible and look great on camera. There are still so many women who believe that it's too late to make changes or it's too late to get started, right? Well, if you're feeling that way, after the next session, you are not going to feel that because Jana Lane will show us why that's not the case. Jana Lane is a certified life mastery consultant, dream builder coach. She is dedicated to her life to helping women of a certain age. And I don't know what that age is, but I hope I'm outside of that bracket. But
We'll talk about it.
She helps the women of certain age break free from limitations and align their purpose with bold, actionable steps. Jana's message is especially for those of you who feel stuck, discontent, or believe it's too late for a change. Her insights today is going to help you shift that perspective. Welcome, Jana.
Hello, and celebrating you on your 100th episode. And everyone has been amazing. I've been just voraciously taking notes. So it's been awesome.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And what a great way to celebrate with you here.
Thank you.
So, Jana, let's dive in. What role does vision play in living a life of abundance? And how can someone tap into that vision?
Well, visioning, someone mentioned earlier, like life coaching has a little bit of a bad rap. I think visioning too, almost like the word mastermind, so many things have been watered down because there's so many versions. But what I want to really impress upon everyone here today, we are never too old to have a vision or create a vision. And when you asked about what is that age, when I refer to women of a certain age, I'm so glad you asked that because it's whatever age you are. It could be that you're 35 and you're tired of your job and you are just longing for more. It could be that you're in your early 40s and you're dealing with, gosh, I'm an empty nester. What do I want to do with the rest of my life? It could be someone like me who at 58 decided to leave a 22-year career to start my own business. So no matter what age we are or what stage we're at in life, visioning and having a vision and dreaming is key to us making a shift and moving forward and making whatever change it is that we're longing for.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow, when you said whatever age you're at, that just took, I don't know why, but that took the pressure off. Like, oh, okay, I don't know. I guess it's the thing of getting older, right? It's now you get to see when your kids are growing up, you don't get to see as much of your own aging as you see their aging. Now that they're adults, I'm really seeing my own aging. So there's some emotional thing going on there. So So, Jana, you help your clients break free from the limitations, right? What are some common patterns or beliefs you see that hold people back from living their best lives?
Well, I think that as women of a certain age, whatever stage that is in our life, we often look backwards to define who we are. And the important thing is, what I do is help people realize it's not where you've been, it's where you want to go. So the things that hold people back often are my life is about my kids. My job is to manage the household. I've got to make sure I get everyone to where they're supposed to be on time. One of my limiting paradigms was, who do I think I am? I'm too old to be doing this, starting a new business. Their limiting paradigms come in all shapes and forms. They're very, very sneaky. And all they are is just a fancy word for our subconscious. I call them, and I borrowed this from Jim Quick in the book Limitless. I call it lies and BS. Limiting ideas entertained. And when you entertain those limiting ideas long enough, they become your BS, which is your belief system. Or you could go with the other version of the acronym. But for today, we'll keep it clean.
Fill in the blank.
Exactly. We all carry it around. And as I typed in the chat earlier, we're all a work in progress forever. I have been studying transformational life coaching since 2018, and I still work on it every day. I still have my quiet time and do my journaling in the morning. So we all carry things that sometimes we're not even aware of. And that's part of what I work on with my clients, is helping them to uncover the stories that they're telling themselves that they're not even realizing they're telling themselves every day.
Yes. And I've also realized that, your limiting beliefs, they come up to be dealt with when you're ready to handle the situation. So depending on what kind of life you've had, you'll have that. So sometimes it can get frustrating. I used to get really frustrated, like, I thought I had already dealt with that and now it's back. But they come in different layers, I've noticed. Do you feel this, Jana? They come in different layers that you need to work through when you are ready to work through it, when you can handle that portion.
For sure. I love that, Seema. And one of the things that's really important when we're speaking to the women of a certain age is all the things we've been through in life: loss of a loved one, physical issues, divorce, the kids going away, maybe being estranged from your kids, aren't talking to you. All those things that we've dealt with, they're not the reason why we can't dream and vision and build a life we would love. They're the reasons we must. And all of that experience can be tapped into and used in a way that is positive and that moves us forward. Again, it's not where we've been, it's where we're going.
That's so important to remember. Your past does not define you in moving forward in the direction that you want to be at. Wonderful. So, Jana, how do you combine coaching with practical strategies like organizing physical space to support your personal growth?
Great question. So in 2022, I launched a home organizing business, and I absolutely love home organizing. And I had also been, as I mentioned, a student of life coaching for myself personally. And what I found working with my coaching clients was, while getting the drawer organized or the closet organized or decluttering an entire home, whatever the situation was, that was kind of fun. But the really cool part was seeing the internal transformation. So for my coaching clients who are interested in the organizing piece, which I think is so important, what we do is tie in, depending on what quadrant of life we're working in. It could be love and relationships, time and money freedom, health and wellness, whatever quadrant we're working on, we'll talk about what is going on in that part of their home. For example, if health and wellness is what they're working on, we could focus on the kitchen. Like, let's do a deep dive into the pantry. What's in there? Is it supporting your goals? Is it not supporting your goals? Excuse me. If we're focusing on love and relationships, maybe they want a deeper, more meaningful relationship with their partner. We'll look at the bedroom. Is there a TV in the bedroom? Um, is it, what's the lighting? Could we maybe change some habits around, does one go to bed before the other? Could we look at maybe changing that? Just a lot of things in our house will support whatever else it is we're trying to accomplish in the world. This comes up a lot when I'm dealing with business professionals who are trying to be more productive at work. A routine at your desk, cleaning it off. Just take 5 minutes at the end of the day to clear your desk. And when you come in the morning, you have an inviting open space that encourages you and supports you in being more productive. So our physical space can either detract from or move us towards the goals that we're trying to accomplish in our head. So we got to work on the head and the heart and the home.
Definitely, yes. Your space really is can make a big impact. And also, it can tell you what you're feeling. We've talked about this before, where I shared with you that how my house looks would depend on what I'm feeling on the inside. Because sometimes it's hard to be in tune because you're so busy. It's hard to be in tune with your feelings and what you're feeling and what you're going through. But then when I notice if my house is more cluttered or if my bedroom is more cluttered, there's something going on inside, and I have to take a step back and say, okay, Seema, what's going on? And then as soon as whatever's been bothering me or coming up to surface, as soon as I work on that, my space also gets cleaned up. So
Yes.
sometimes it's a good indication of letting you know what's happening on the inside. Is that
Yeah.
just me, or is that
No, it's true. And there's a fairly common saying, I don't know if I have it correct, but something about how your home is a reflection of who you are in the world.
Yeah.
And I can definitely, one of the strategies I use with my clients when we're looping in the home to the life coaching is when you open the door at the end of the day and walk into your home, what would you love to feel?
Yeah.
And if what rushes into your head is not a wonderful experience, those are some of the things we need to maybe dive a little deeper into, see what it is about that environment that's not supporting you in living a life you would love. So I experienced this myself. Oftentimes I'm working with clients who have inherited things that they're just an accumulation of stuff. My parents, the mother-in-law, stuff from everywhere. And I had that. And during the shelter in place, we redid our hardwood floors. So we removed all the furniture from the living room. And when it was time to move everything back in after the floors were done, I couldn't do it because I had experienced this spaciousness and this freedom. So I made a phone call to my mother and asked permission to release all of the antiques I had inherited. And she said, of course, my love, please do it. So the littlest things can make the biggest differences.
Definitely, definitely. Wow. Amazing. So, Jana, what would be a parting advice that you would like to give to the rest of our listeners, or to our listeners here today and those who will be listening in the future?
I'm just going to pull up so I can see these beautiful faces. I just wish for you everything that you would love for yourself. So I would encourage you to, if you don't have any sort of a vision or you haven't done visioning, or even if you have and haven't revisited it for a while, just take a moment tonight to reflect on, or right after this, while it's still fresh in your mind, take 5 minutes and just reflect on, what would I love? And don't worry about the how. That's one of the biggest obstacles. Oftentimes we catch ourselves, like, I want to do this. And then we start worrying about, well, how am I going to do that? I don't know if I have the money. I don't know if I'm talented enough. The how doesn't matter. When your brain and your mind decides that you want something, the world, the universe, spirit it will show up. When you ask for it, you will receive it. You just need to be open to it and pay attention to it. And I wish all the best for all of you. And I hope that I'll hear from some of you. Happy to help.
Wonderful, Jana. I couldn't have said it better myself. This is perfect. Perfect way to end the day with that reminder. Thank you so much, Jana, for being here. What an inspiring way to wrap up this incredible event. Jana just reminded us that no matter where we are in life, it's never too late to make a change. Whether it's clearing physical clutter, shifting our mindset, or stepping boldly into our next chapter, transformation is always possible. Penny reminded us that true financial freedom comes from intentional money habits, aligning your spending with your values to build the future you deserve. Andrea demonstrated how video marketing can amplify your message, helping you connect authentically with your audience and showcase your brilliance without the need for perfection. And we just completed our 100th episode, everybody. It is such an honor to have done this with each and every one of you here today. And I'm going to get a little emotional. And it's going to be okay. This is a reflection of my own journey. How far I've come from not believing that I had a story, not believing that I was worthy of anything, to be able to have this amazing podcast that has introduced me to so many of amazing women like you, and being able to support people and being able to help other women who felt stuck, who felt in the place that I was, to now powerfully owning their story, sharing their story in books, through speaking, through podcasting. I'm at a loss of words. But this is what I was meant to do. I found what I was meant to do. I've been behind the scenes for so long. I've supported my husband in all his entrepreneurial journeys, and I was the person behind the scene. And then there came a times like, nope, you need to be out. It was so scary to come out. I was like, who am I? All these things that all of us have gone through. Who am I to be speaking? Who am I to be sharing my story? Who am I to be in an anthology with Dr. John Gray, right? The best of the authors in the world. But when these opportunities came, I started saying yes. And I'm so glad. And one of the books that really helped me do that was The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. When someone like her could still be afraid of things and start saying yes, that's when I started saying yes and really stepping into finding out who I am and owning who I am. And this, my friends, has only been the last 5 to 7 years. Where I started making my own decisions and started, taking inputs from my husband and stuff. But I was always let him take the lead. And I decided, nope. If not now, when? I was in my mid 40s when I started doing this, right? The woman of a certain age. And I hope that my story will help others to really step in no matter what age. And you can find what you're meant to do. And I believe the journey that I've been through from, discrimination, from, came as an immigrant here, from discrimination to being laughed at, from being bullied to trying to make two cultures work. My parents were they were so adamant on maintaining our values, and that meant they had to be really strict with me in order to do that. I mean, and then to be able to, through all of that, trying to please everyone, to becoming bedridden, to being ridiculed by the doctors, saying it's all in your head, when they couldn't diagnose me properly with all the tests they were doing was coming out normal, to fighting every single step and winning at every single step. Some took much longer, but just listening to my intuition and sticking with it has led me to here with all of you. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being part of this journey and for being here with me today. Couldn't have done without you. So let's give a big shout out and clap to all of you. Yes. Where's my reactions? Yes. And thank you so much for all our listeners who were here today and who are going to be listening later, for being part of this journey, for tuning in today. And please let us know in the chat what were some of your key takeaways that you had today, and let us know in the show note in the comments below when you're listening on your favorite platform. What were your key takeaways, and which speaker resonated the most with you? We resonate with those with what we need to work on today. So again, thank you so much for all of you. It's been a beautiful day for me. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Break Free to Brilliance podcast, and I hope you had some key takeaways that you can implement right away. Be sure to subscribe to Break Free to Brilliance wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow along with us on social media using the links in the show notes below. We'll see you again for the next episode.